Multiplication is the gateway skill, y'all. It will break your child without it. Let me just show you a few examples. Right here, I basically have that. Multiplication equals gateway. It will break your child without it. Let's just look at a few examples, parents, if you don't understand this. They're going to have to add fractions pretty soon, whether they're in fourth or fifth grade. To add fractions, you have to have something called a common denominator, and it requires multiplication. You usually multiply the denominators by each other, and so I would multiply the 3 times the 2 right here, and I would probably multiply the 3 by the 2, but what you do to the denominator, you have to do to its numerator. You have to learn this stuff at the level that the kids are headed. So if you don't know what 3 times 2 is, you're in a world of trouble. It's at least going to take you a lot longer to solve. 3 times 2 is 6, and then you do 3 times 1 right here, which is 3. Over here, 3 times 2 again is 6. So we're going to say 6, and above it, 2 times 2 is 4. You have to set it up like this in order to be able to add the two fractions together. Now that the denominators are the same, I can keep it the same, and I can add the numerators. That's going to be 7, so it's 7 over 6. If you don't know multiplication, good luck, kid. Now let's look at number 2. Finding the area, very common. At this age, they do this as early as 4th grade in some areas, some districts. Well, the formula for multiplying or finding the area of a rectangular figure is length times the width. So you got to know that 3 times 5 is 15 without too much struggle. So that would be 15 inches squared in this case. To find the area of a triangle, it's a little more fancy. It's base times the height divided by 2. So you have to know that 4 times 6 is equal to 24. And then you actually have to know that 24 divided by 2 would be 12. And so this would end up being 12. See if I can fit it in here. 12 feet squared. And so that's what that is. But again, it requires multiplication. Now, when you get a little higher into the pre-algebra and algebra levels, they're going to be asked to factor what's called a polynomial. This is a very common one called a quadratic trinomial. In order to do this, you have to be able to multiply and add. Find two numbers that multiply to -8 that would also add to a +2. And the way you set it up, use 2 parentheses. X squared is really x times x, so that's a multiplying principle, but it has to multiply to -4 and add to +2. Well, the only thing that does that is a +4 and a -2. +4 times -2 is a -8, but +4 plus a -2 is a +2. And so that's how you factor a polynomial. Now listen, without knowing your multiplication facts, math equals pain. Why do you want to break your child? It's coming at them from every angle.